Welcome, welcome. Hi, people. My people, are you here or are you here? My people, welcome back to U&I Talk Show. Today, a serious, grave show. Once again, my people, once again. Madness. Rwandan madness. Damn. This time made in the UK. As you know, this is a story that we have dared to talk about. And yeah, so we're gonna keep talking about it. I don't even know what to say anymore because it's just madness. But against the madness and opposed to the madness, and in as a way to fight and to resist the madness, we're going to dig into it. We're going to dig into it. The best thing would be to speak the truth, about the Rwandan community, Rwandan society. UK people are talking about that they're gonna have an inquiry, a public inquiry. We're talking about Rudakubana finally pleading guilty and being sentenced to 52 years. So there's going to be a public inquiry, and so I want U&I Talk Show to contribute to this public inquiry by telling you what I know about Rwandan society and what I have found out about this particular case. Because if there's going to be a public inquiry in the UK, they can't just limit themselves to the UK. They absolutely have to talk about Rwanda and where he comes from and his family. Otherwise, it makes no sense. Like otherwise, how many young little men are so obsessed with mass killing and genocide and such things in Southport. It's a nice little town in England. So how many young little boys are obsessed with that? Why this particular boy would be obsessed? To the level of killing these innocent 3 little girls. And why attack 3 little girls, women, white women? Why? So I think justice, speaking the truth and exposing the truth, is also another form of justice. So we're gonna talk about it. According to me, allegations, these are things that should be investigated by they say they're going to have a public hearing, public inquiry. Of course, I've already done videos. It's on, like, pinned on my Twitter, talking about please investigate this. And then so I'm hoping that real journalists in the UK can do this job and investigate. I'm not a real journalist. I'm a journalist, but investigative journalist. Like, I wish the UK had, this guy in the USA, or O'Keefe Media Group, OMG. James O'Keefe. He goes around disguised and he exposes corrupted politicians. I think like the UK, even Canada would love to have such a person. Because according to my observations, the cover up continues, like pleading guilty could be another way to hide the extents of the cover up and the extents of the network, like throw one guy under the bus so that the rest of the network does not get exposed. So which means the investigation must continue. So all these are things that we're going to talk about, and then I'm going to tell you what Rwandan people are saying, you know and also, according to my observation, this obsession with killing and massacres and genocide, he is not the only one who has it. He's not the only one who has it. So are we going to heal? Are we going to heal together? Or are we going to cause more chaos, you know, because of this obsession with death and killing and genocide and all this madness that Rwandans have in Rwanda and now beyond Rwanda, because people be traveling, right? And if how we can deal with it, because otherwise, right now, Rwanda, the Kagamistan, the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda is still at war in Congo, plundering and killing millions of lives, obsession with death, massacres, genocide. And these Rwandans, many of them, they, especially this one who has, whose father was a part of the Kagamistan killing machines army, and then he came to the UK as an immigrant. The father, and the allegations that have been circulating about him, so we're gonna talk about all those things, my people, in English, in French, and then we're gonna end in KinyaRwanda. So welcome to the show. Send me your comments, and then it's also open mic. If you wanna come on the show and express yourself, please be my guest. All right. If you speak French, wait for 30 minutes when we get into French. If you speak in Rwanda, wait for an hour. All right, my people, welcome to you and I. Hi, my people. So let's talk about this madness. First of all, the weapons that were found at his home. The reason why I'm saying like the cover up continues. The weapons that were found at his home, and the fact that they are now trying to say that his father at one time stopped him, to me that also attracted my attention, because I'm like, oh, so the father knows his plans. The father knew his plans. There's a video of him stopping him calmly, nicely, peacefully. I'm there, I'm like, so what is the father telling the son? Son, come on now, don't do this, don't blow our cover, son, don't blow our cover. This is not the time to do this shit, son. You blow cover if you do shit too early. Wait, be patient, son. We'll get them. We'll get them one day. Be patient, because lest we forget, allegations have been made that his own father was part of the Kagamistan killing machines army, the army of Paul Kagame, who took over Rwanda through blood, through killing, through genocide. And as much as they have tried to portray themselves as saviors, it is actually quite the contrary of saviors, because they have also massacred and genocided people. And right now, his army continues to kill, massacre, and plunder in Congo, and even commit genocide in Congo against the Congolese people. So some Rwandans are actually hoping that this case would bring attention to the criminal uh, regime that we have in power in Rwanda, which came to power through blood, through massacres, through genocide. And these people, because they were supported by the UK, by the USA, by Canada, because these people, they send their children even to study in your own country. Kagame's two sons graduated from military institution in the UK, and then the UK accepts former military people from the Kagamistan to come and be immigrants in your own country. They bring their own ideologies, and who knows? Rwandans have been, spreading allegations talking about maybe the father was sent to the UK as an undercover, because the criminal dictatorship of Rwanda is supported by the corrupted UK politicians. So they will use the corrupted criminal dictatorship in Africa to do horrible things in the UK, in your own country, just like they use the corrupted criminal dictatorship in the Kagamistan, in Rwanda, to do horrible things in Congo, in Mozambique, in Benin, in Centrafrique, because it serves their interest. And then when they do horrible things in the UK, you can judge them by the solutions that they propose to your nation. What are the solutions that your own politicians, your UK Prime Minister, he should resign, my people. He should resign. He should just resign. He's not incompetent. He's a very smart man. So, but what he is doing is on purpose to bring dictatorship to the UK. Look at the solutions that they have proposed to you. Instead of giving you the truth, the ones who are practicing misinformation. He's out there imprisoning people talking about misinformation. Meanwhile, the government itself, the corrupted government itself in the UK, is the one spreading misinformation. Because otherwise, my people, explain to me how everybody got together and they were like, all right, we're going to spread a nice little picture of this nice little man. We're not going to show who he really is. And then today we find out this is who he is. What? 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 You're gonna tell me that it is accidental that everywhere they spread this nice little picture, cute picture of him as a baby? Huh? And then all of a sudden we find out he's a grown ass man. All right. And then, oh man. And then now they're trying to say, I don't know. Maybe they've been watching the videos of me exposing how the father was part of the Kagamistan killing machines army, and how they should investigate it, and how they have sent sleeper cells in the UK, people who have pledged allegiance to the Kagamistan criminal dictatorship in Rwanda, talking about they can send them to do anything. How about you investigate the entire network? How about you investigate the whole family? This is an underage boy. Where does an underage boy get money? Does he have money? Does he have a job? Does he have credit cards to go on Amazon and order machetes? Talk about knives. Yo, it look like machetes to me. I'm like, yo, there's machetes in Rwanda. Have you not heard about people committing genocide in Rwanda using machetes? I'm so profoundly outraged, offended, insulted, because people just being taken like stupid idiots, you know? So, like, the UK Prime Minister, really, he should also send himself to jail according to his own laws, because he's been sending people to jail for misinformation. And then he's the one calling for a public inquiry, public whatnot, I don't know what it is, what they call it exactly. Oh man, participating in this public thing already. Yeah, bring it on. Let everybody go there and speak the truth. But I'm telling you, UK people, you're gonna have to start to the roots. You're gonna have to start to the roots. And the roots of all these things is in Rwanda, is on the parents, you know. Rwandan people, we are talking all these years, the Kagamistan people be talking about, oh, amashereka, amashereka. This is even within the KinyaRwanda culture. If someone does something amazing or if they do something horrendous, people always go back into their roots and they're like, who is the father? Who is the mother? What kind of political ideology are they into? Because it's not accidental that someone may become like that. So I'll actually show you one of the comments of someone on Facebook that I was talking, because obviously we are talking about it in the Rwandan community. In the Rwandan community, this is the thing that everybody's talking about right now. So let me, sorry about that. So yeah, I want to go on fake book, since I have been unblocked. This is one of the stories why my fake book account even disappeared. When I started talking about this story, how I was censored. Even one of my fake book disappeared. I think maybe some videos on YouTube as well. Oh man, because of this story, remember that? Because the Kagamistan is mad that I told this story. And then the other thing that they're talking about, because I was thinking, like, this guy has been given 52 years in jail. How much is that going to cost to the UK taxpayers, on top of killing their children, their women who are going to grow up and produce more children, killing the next generation, a generation within a generation? When I did an interview with this young man who is so good, Danny Roscoe, you can check it out on his YouTube. I was talking about how even the idea of targeting women, right? Madness. So in the Rwandan community, we talk about, okay, his upbringing. Somebody say something about his mother, his father, because all these years that the Kagamistan been talking, they've been talking about people's parents, people's mothers, talking about, oh, we need to look into the family and see the background, say the upbringing. And then also, uh, so when you analyze, when you go to the root of things, because even though remember when the media in the UK cover up, continuing talking about, oh, he's a nice little Welsh boy. And I'm like, nice little Welsh boy. So you don't know that his father was in the Kagamistan killing machines army, and he also joined the army as a young boy. Yo, and then they're talking about how he was outraged in court, causing disturbance and all that thing. And then people are speculating in the Rwandan community. They're like, oh, maybe he's outraged because his family, part of the ruling elite in Rwanda, they have committed genocide and they are in power and they are ruling. The Kagamistan in Rwanda, their hero, has committed genocide in Rwanda and in Congo, and he's ruling, and they idolize him, you know, and these are his soldiers, his boy soldiers. And so maybe he's even outraged because he's like, ah, I killed three people, three little girls. I should have killed more. He wanted to kill more. He even said that he's happy. Oh man. And then people are there like wondering, how did this happen? Go into the roots. Go into the roots. If you're going to do a public inquiry, don't do a superficial public inquiry. Really go into the roots. And then let's come to the conclusion that the UK and the USA and everybody else needs to stop supporting criminal dictators in Africa, because these criminal dictators that you support in Africa, they are horrible people and they create horrible people. And then they export horrible people to you. And then horrible people to you commit horrible things to help the horrible people that you have in power do horrible things to you people in the UK, to the white people in the UK, to like whom we may call like, I don't know, the native people in the UK, like how British call others indigenous people. I don't know if we're gonna start using those words in the UK. So, anyways, this guy posted, Simon Pierre Gahamanyi, thank you, on Facebook, talking about your behavior itself cannot directly change the DNA sequence you pass on to your child, but your experiences and lifestyle can influence how your genes are expressed through epigenetic changes, which means your behavior can potentially impact certain traits in your offspring, even if the underlying DNA code remains the same. Essentially, your behavior can mark your DNA in a way that affects how genes are turned on or off, potentially impacting your child's development. What does that even mean? You have to go into the roots, man. If you don't go into the roots, I don't know, it will be a superficial inquiry. And if you go into the roots, you're going to discover that your own government has been lying to you for many, many, many years, and that they have supported a criminal dictatorship at the heart of Africa, and that they have supported it in committing very horrible things, and that they're still supporting it. This is one of the good things, because we're also talking about Trump today versus Starmer. This is also one of the other good things that Trump has done on his very first day, cutting foreign aid, especially aid to these criminal dictatorships in Africa, is a must. The UK government has been sending so much money to this criminal dictatorship in Rwanda. Oh yeah, so I was gonna tell you about how about maybe sending these people back to Rwanda so the criminal dictatorship can take care of them. And then I started seeing online people, supporters of the criminal dictatorship in Rwanda, they actually want that. They want you guys to send this family and this kid back to Rwanda, because to the Rwandan criminal dictatorship, they have done nothing. They will be welcomed. They may even be rewarded. This kid may even be put in the military and sent to Congo, because this is exactly what they love in the Kagamistan killing machines army. They call themselves killing machines, and they are on video talking about how their future generation, their younger generations, is worse killing machines than them. This killing machines army is the army that his own father was part of, and he joined the army as an underage boy, and then he came to the UK as an immigrant. Nobody joins the army of the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda and is allowed to live in peace and go off to the UK to live happily ever after. People have been suspecting something that your public inquiry, whatever investigative journalist, real journalist in the UK, do your job, can start to investigate and find out. It's not accidental. All right, so we're gonna look into this now. The weapons that he had at home, and how he purchased those weapons. Do children in the UK, they have money, eh? They have money, eh? They have Amazon's account, eh? How do they buy things? How do they buy things, my people? You need to explain this to me. How could his parents not know? And then he has poison. Who else uses poison? We know that the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda uses poison. This is classic in the Rwandan community. Everybody knows. And then we have people cells in the UK pledging allegiance. They're on video. The videos are out here. If I have the video, UK investigative people, you must have them. How could you not have them? And then your your government is going to pretend like they are incompetent. No, they allow this to happen on purpose. Don't even think that your politicians are incompetent. They're not incompetent. They are very smart people. I was going to say evil, so I guess I might as well say it. The slip of the tongue. Yo, I was gonna say, okay, they're very smart people who have chosen to use their intelligence, their smartness for evil. This is just as simple as it is. You know, you could be a very smart person and choose to use your intelligence and everything that you have for Imana, for the good. Or you can choose to use what you have for evil. So your politicians, even the Kagamistan politicians, they're not incompetent, they're not stupid, they're very intelligent people. Even this kid is a very intelligent kid. You saw how he planned everything. His family knew, and then they are trying to say, oh, his father tried to stop him once. And then I'm there, I'm like, so his father knew. His father knew. He knows his son, he knows his plans. Like, no, 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 son, be patient. Mm-mm. Investigate. On top of that, if he was underage, the parents are automatically responsible. So let's watch this video from the UK talking about the the stuff that he had in his house, and then you tell me if all the children in the UK, if this is like regular things, right? You can't tell me, man. You can't tell me. Everything has to do with where he comes from and who he is and his upbringing and the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan and how the criminal dictatorship of Kagamistan is supported by the corrupted leadership in the UK. Let's not forget that Tony Blair was BFF and an advisor. How does Tony Blair, a prime minister, Labour prime minister in the UK, become an advisor of the criminal dictator of Rwanda? How? How? Someone who came to power through massacres, mass killing, genocide. And then the UK prime minister becomes his advisor. Even when one of his military people was arrested in the UK, the wife of Tony Blair was one of defending the Kagamistan, one of the Kagamistan genocidaire generals who's on the list of genocidaire of the regime. So UK politicians, they're deeply, deeply intelligent, but deeply corrupted, and they have chosen to put their brains at the service of evil. And now the UK population is suffering the consequences, and they don't care. They don't care. So that's why I'm saying, like, the cover up continues. Even this guy may be thrown under the bus. Okay, plead guilty. So maybe everything stops there. We don't get to hear nothing. And then, so if all this allegedly, if he has an entire network, then the entire network gets away with it. Nobody follows up. No, man. The cover up continues. So let's see. Let's see, my people.
Inside the family home on a quiet cul-de-sac in a village 4 miles from Southport. The police discovered a stash of weapons.
Do you see these weapons? You're gonna tell me what is that? Those are not machetes. People who committed genocide in Rwanda, yo. Are you not having traumas?
A machete, a set of arrows. From here, he'd researched conflicts all over the world,
Arrows.
beheadings, terrorism, and genocide. Under his bed was this Tupperware container. Tests later showed it contained the deadly toxin ricin. There's no evidence that he used it, but he'd ordered the ingredients online and made it himself.
All of the evidence that we found in relation to him shows that he was obsessed with violence. The planning shows that he was intent that day on going out to commit mass murder. What we don't know, because we've never found it, is that the ideology, that's just not there. It was more a suggestion that he was probably more socially isolated than being radicalized by anybody.
What has been
the ideology? So how are you going to understand the ideology if you don't go into his background to understand the madness of the Rwandan society? British people. Yo, man, this is a Pandora box. This is a Pandora box, my people. Welcome to our world, is what I'm saying.
Been the input from his immediate family into your investigation?
So we still have a live investigation ongoing. So I'm unable to answer any questions in relation to the parents at this stage.
Okay, so you heard, at least they still have a live investigation going on. Somebody send them these videos so that they can investigate.
A lot of people watching this will wonder what that means.
We have a live investigation ongoing, and that is something that we are still looking into.
This footage.
Okay, so this is the part where they say now that the father tried to stop him at one time. You know, you will see that he's wearing the exact same green color. I wonder what green alludes to. Military. And then his father is calmly stopping him that one time. But eventually he wore the same clothes and went and did what he did. You know, so his father, without having spoken to him, nothing, he just knows. And so he knows the son, he knows the plan. What is he saying to him? And how come he knows? And if he knows, why doesn't he tell the UK Popo? Oh wait, the UK Popo was told this guy had been referred to UK services like however many times. He was known by the authorities, but they allow him to continue and to eventually do what he did. My people. And then you're going to be asking me how I'm going to be talking about the cover-up continues? All right, watch.
Footage shows Rudakubana a week before the attack. He's sitting inside this taxi. The man on the street is his father. He was persuading his son not to go back to his old high school. Eventually, Rudakubana complies and leaves the taxi. The court was told it was likely to be an attempt to carry out a similar attack.
The red flags stretch back to 2019 and a catalogue of incidents over the years. Among them, he'd been caught looking up school massacres while in class. During a call to Childline, he asked, "What do I do if I want to kill somebody?" And when the police stopped him on another occasion, he had a knife. He told the officers he wanted to stab someone.
A long list of worrying behaviour meant he was on the radar of multiple authorities, including the...
Remember when this is the picture that they showed us of a nice little boy? Everybody had this picture. You think it's accidental? Why?
police, mental health and children's services. He'd also been referred several times to prevent the counter-terrorism programme, but his case was not escalated.
It is right that questions are asked about what more needs to be done across the whole prevent system and beyond. Many threads have to come together if we are to stop children and vulnerable people being led towards violence and extremism, including better and earlier identification of those at risk and reducing the ready access to weapons and horrific toxic online material.
They should also add stop the funding of criminal dictatorships in Africa. Stop accepting in your country people who are suspect, people who even people who are involved with the criminal dictatorship, people who have a history. Stop supporting, because these things, these things will have a way. Blood is blood. People have been talking about um karma. You do something good, you will find it on your way in the front. You do something bad, you'll find it on the way in the front. If someone spills blood and then they go on and they live in another country peacefully, but then they grow up talking about it, they grow up telling their children about their wars and their massacres and their genocide, and then their children grow up being obsessed with war and massacres and genocide, and maybe they want to emulate the grown-ups around them who have been telling them about massacres and genocide, and it just so happens that these grown-ups have also been involved in such things, and they have probably even committed worse, much worse than this guy is committing. And maybe that's why even this guy is outraged in court, because maybe he doesn't even understand why the people that he idolizes have committed far worse and they're free. Some of them are even presidents. My people.
There will be a full inquiry, but we already know this teenager could have been stopped, and the investigation into him and his family is not yet over.
You heard? He could have been stopped. But the investigation is not over. British people, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm on the side of justice and truth everywhere. So, justice for these little girls, and justice for all the people who get, all the innocent people who are getting killed by these people who have chosen to use their brain, to use their brain for evil, right? So let me go into the comments and see, and see what it is that some of you may be saying. And if anybody wants to come and say something on the show live, you got the link. Claudia Schiffer, I see you. Ira Rosenberg, hello from Canada. Canada in the building. Yo, I'm so happy I'm in Canada. This is the only way that I've been able to talk about this, because UK people have been prevented from talking about this, So we have our own crazy issues in Canada, but at least the year started. Trudeau resigned in tears. I'm so happy that Trudeau resigned in tears, but I can't celebrate because you know what is happening, right? Canadian people, my people. My people, Claudia Schiffer. Claudia Schiffer says that's what needs to be done. Going to the Rwandan community to know about his family. Exactly. You cannot avoid it. And then you need to talk about your immigration policy. And you need to talk about if somebody comes in your country and they misbehave to this level, what is it that you should do? Should you maybe send them back so that their own country can deal with this madness? Like 52 years times at least 50,000 UK money to take care of him, that is at least $3 million. Mathematician, do the math. That's at least so much money. And then his family, which is getting investigated, which to me is on the list of suspects, is now in being protected. Is now like, they took them somewhere and they're still spending UK people money to protect them. So can you imagine? Now people are going to be like, on top of losing their children, losing their little girls who are going to produce more children in the future in a society where they don't even have children. Now they're going to have to use taxpayers' money to upkeep like this group of people that have harmed them to this level. So they need to talk about all these things in the inquiry, like if this was happening to your country, even as Africans, if somebody comes from another country, and then they do horrible things in your land in Africa, oh, that person is getting kicked out. So why, like why? So why should they, why should they be taking care of them? And then of course we've seen that like, there's a whole new debate now about the death penalty. You know how in Congo they were putting to death all these delinquent youth who have killed people. They call them the Kuluna in Congo. They put them to death. So I saw UK people talking about the death penalty in this case, but the death penalty is a whole other debate and issue, like in which instance is the death penalty applicable, right? But that's a whole other debate, most probably for another day. But people should start to talk about it, maybe as a dissuasive measure to dissuade people from committing horrible things. But at the same time, when people are so crazy, so mad, maybe they have a death wish, they may actually commit horrible things so that they can be put to death by somebody else because they're cowards. They can't even commit suicide and kill only themselves. Like this guy is there talking about he wants to kill. I was gonna say, yeah. So if you wanna kill, how about you kill yourself and you leave the rest of the world alone? You so badly call. Like I was thinking, when they said that he called somebody, yo, I want to kill somebody. Yo, if it's me answering you, I'm gonna tell you like, you wanna kill somebody? How about you kill you and then you leave the rest of the world alone? Is that a solution? Anyways, let me keep reading the comments. Ian, hello from Southport. Hope Future, thank you so much. Hello, Louise. Great work. Keep it up. Claudia Schiffer, greeting Ian from Southport. And then Ira Rosenberg talking about, I sent the link for this live to a UK journalist that covered the trial in depth. Hopefully they'll be looking into it, right? Yo, it's a Pandora box. Wait till they found out. These people are part of the ruling elite in Rwanda, in the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda, the place where these people have been advertising that, it's a safe country to send refugees to, because they are corrupted and they have corrupted the government and they're the ones sponsoring it. And the government that they're sponsoring is in Congo, committed mass crimes and committing genocide against Congolese people to benefit who? The European Union signed an agreement with Rwanda, knowing very well that Rwanda is plundering and committing genocide in Congo, but the resources, the material that they get from Congo, they need it, so they're willing to sign agreement with a mass murderer, a genocidaire dictatorship at the heart of Africa. They don't care. They don't care about people. They don't care about the UK. They would burn the UK and crush the UK economy and make the UK people poor and then flood them with immigrants so that they can completely become slaves in their own land. Yo, I love freedom. This is my concern. Freedom. And I don't care where it is, freedom in Canada, freedom in the UK. I love freedom. I don't want to see the UK people become slaves, and then they'll become slaves. And part of the reason why they'll become slaves is a manipulation that is involving Rwanda, the criminal dictatorship in Rwanda. And I know something about it, and I'm not going to say, yo, I'm going to scream and scream and scream so that I could be like, don't nobody say that nobody told you. I've been screaming and telling you. Claudia Schiffer is like, do you still got Kabarebe's speech about the next generation? Yo, I have Kabarebe's speech This is a general in Rwanda talking about how they have trained the next generation, their army. They are proud to be killing machines, and they have trained the next generation to be better killers than them. Said that they're not even concerned, they're not even worried, because the new generation that they have trained is better than them, better killing machine. These are people who pride themselves into killing. They love it, they enjoy it. This kid be like, oh, I'm happy that these children died. He actually told people that he was happy that he had killed. Where do you think that comes from? Where does that come from? Rwandan people, you cannot deny that this is happening in our society. We need to expose it. Kabarebe, this is
we umufisi muri hafi kuri buri kintu cyose. His Excellency yatanze amabwiriza kuri training ya RDF, kandi Kamana ni chief icyo avuze gihinduka itegeko. Yaravuze ngo ndashaka RDF kuba.
Okay, we're not going to put the whole speech because it's in KinyaRwanda. Anyways, he's bragging. He's talking about them being killing machines. He's talking about how the next generation is worse than the previous generation. To him, he's like, they're better. But to us, human beings, we're like, they're worse, you know? So, Rike, hey ho, here's your German fan. Guten Tag, my German fan. Thank you very much. Rike is like, media and government are complicit. The poor 18-year-old is now the villain in their story. He's not the only one. He's not the only one. Everybody needs to be investigated. Claudia Schiffer, I think his father organized this attack. We don't know, but he needs to be investigated. Hope Future, please show how they taught the kids to be killing machines. This is happening in Rwanda. People who will investigate, they will find out. Rike, the picture is so horrible. It's obviously to make us hate him. No one can make you hate anyone. People hate people for their actions, for what they have done. People don't just wake up and hate people for the sake of hating people. If people hate him, it will not be because of how he looks like. It will be because of the horrible things that he has done, you know? So we can't talk about hate when someone has done something so horrible, and then when people denounce it and reject it, talk about hate. You know, the same way people be talking about when they reject it or when they denounce it, the white people, they call them racist, and then people be talking about Islamophobia. If people have concerns about Islam, you can't talk about how so many things are allowed in Islam, and because these things are allowed in Islam, this is why some people use it as an excuse to commit some crimes. And then when you talk about it, people are like Islamophobia, or when you talk about these things like hate, no. People need to have the freedom of speech to express their opinions in peace and not be called racist, far right, and this and that, especially since all they're doing is exercising their freedom of speech. And you can't look into people's hearts and come to the conclusion that they have hate, you know. So we need to look at the actions, you know, talking about people being judged. The dream, Martin Luther King Day, Trump talked about he's going to open the case for Martin Luther King Day. Martin Luther King dream was about content. People being judged by the content of their character, not by the color of the skin or anything. People being judged for their actions. So if you do bad actions and people hate you and reject you, maybe you deserve the goddamn hate and the goddamn rejection. Why would people love you? Why should people love you and accept you when you have been a monster who has committed horrible things? So someone is going to be a monster and commit horrible things, and then when he's hated and rejected, you're going to talk about hate? Come on. Protect British culture is like, hi again, Louise. I think my country is done for already. No, man, don't give up. Don't give up. It's not done. Or you're going to have to give up so that it can be done. If you don't give up, it is not done. Ian, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, one of the videos has disappeared, eh? Let them have it. We're gonna make more. We're not gonna stop making more anyways. Claudia Schiffer, someone says it's 2.4 million pounds. So that's even worse than the $3 million that I was talking about. Because the pound is like almost double the dollar, Canadian dollar, anyways. Spending 52 years in jail. Yeah. Meanwhile, the Kagamistan killing machine army, the fans of the Kagamistan, they're like, oh, send him to Rwanda. Send him to Rwanda. They want the UK to send him to Rwanda, right? Because to the Kagamistan killing machines, he has done nothing and they may even reward him. And if, as the allegations have been saying, maybe they will reward him. Maybe they'll bring him back into the army with the Son, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And then they'll give them more positions, higher positions. Because in the Kagamistan, in the mentality of the Kagamistan killing machines army and these people who support it, they're like, yeah, send him over here. They want to reward them. I don't know. I don't know. This is like what I suspect. What I suspect. So I don't know. I think it's legal to suspect. You tell me, Rwandan people, what do you think? What do you think? Should they be sent back to Rwanda? Or if they are sent back to Rwanda, that's exactly how they will be getting off. That's exactly how they'll be getting off. Like, what do you think? You know? And if they're sent back to Rwanda and rewarded and reintegrated into the system, are they not going to kill even more people? Huh? If they're sent back to Rwanda, they may kill more people. This guy, he's mad. He's outraged in court, screaming because he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't want to hear about the sentencing and what he did. To him, he did nothing. So deep. I don't know. They may have to pay those millions to keep him in the U. Otherwise, in Rwanda, he's going to be rewarded. It's my suspicion. I think we're allowed to suspect. I don't know. Let me know what you think, man. Let me know what you think. Anthony McPhail, thank you so much. U&I Talk Show. Amani ni Baraka, Sister Louise UWACU. Peace to all my Africans globally. Thank you so much, Anthony McPhail. Hope future, that's true. The parents of these girls will be paying taxes to keep the killer in jail for 52 years. British people, wake up. Yo, Rike is like, we are effed since World War II. Europe, USA must end this evil. Yo, the USA just got so lucky with Trump. The USA just got so lucky, man. I was watching the inauguration, watching all those fake people, Democrats. You know who else supported the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda to come into power? The Clintons. Criminal Democrats. And then Joe Biden be forgiving all of them. He's forgiving his own family. And then so you avoided for America to like avoid the Democrats coming back into office or remaining into office, they just dodged a huge bullet, and the world just dodged something much more sinister. So Europe, you may have a chance with the new Trump administration. You may have a chance. Europe, you may have a chance. I was saying that even for Africa, Trump would actually be good for Africa, for Africans, because he cares about America first. This will teach Africa to put themselves first as well, to worry about their own problems and to put Africa and Africans first and to resolve their own issues, knowing that Europe is in deep trouble and they're not going to do nothing. And America is also going to have to mind its own business. So Africans better mind them. And then this whole idea of having failed leadership in Africa that are exporting refugees and exporting immigrants to other people's land. This is an issue of leadership in Africa. People run away from African countries which are rich which should be able to take care of themselves, and they come to Europe, we are in Canada, in the USA, because these countries are better. But if people are going to export the craziness of the country that they ran away from and bring it into the country that they went to, it's just a mess, So the way to resolve it is to have good leadership everywhere, so nobody feels the need to run away from their own country to go and live in another society, or even mess up other people's country, because you can't live in your own country and now you're gonna go to other people's country and mess it up too. So no, Europe, there's hope for you with the USA, at least being with Trump for now. Like, if it was gonna be the Democrats continuing, it was madness, total madness. But you also must fire your corrupted leaders. They have to be fired. Protect British culture is hope future I have, and many others too. Problem is, it takes everyone. Merodia Gassaro, the UK people should know that by hiring criminals, they will reap the reward. They hire criminals. They work with the criminal dictatorship of the Kyrgyzstan. So the result is criminals committing criminal, horrible things, even in the UK. Even in the UK. So they're going to have their public inquiry. Stop the funding. Stop the funding. The aid money, I loved it when they said that Trump was going to stop aid. I'm like, you're going to cut funding. I've been saying this. Boycott. Don't send the money. Don't empower criminal dictatorships. They will cause their people to run away from, or they will send their own people in your own country to mess up your own country. So stop the funding. All the countries that you be sponsoring are even richer than you if they were at peace. Congo is richer, 1,000 times richer than the UK, than Europe. If they were at peace, everybody would be able to benefit from that. But because they want to sponsor criminals so that they can get it for cheap, for slave labor, then they sponsor criminals who commit criminal things and horrible things. And eventually it comes back to Europe, to the UK people as well. So it's imperative that they stop supporting criminal dictatorships in Africa. Rike is like, the big lies and corruptions are just piling up. Expose them. Keep exposing them. Anthony MacPhail is like, Kagame is like the Black Leopard, the second Black Leopold II committing atrocities against the Congolese people. Absolutely. Leopold II, King of Belgium, came to Congo and made Congo his own like little plantation, where he practiced slavery and killed and cut off the hands of people who did not want to work with him. And now the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda is, to me, is even worse than Leopold II. Leopold II was coming from all the way in Europe, and then this was their way of conquering through slavery and barbarism. But for an African country right next door to become exactly like the enslavers and the colonizers and do in Congo horrible things, or maybe sometimes in some places even worse horrible crimes than the Europeans have done in Congo, it is just madness. So it has to be exposed, it needs to be screamed, and it has to stop. And one of the ways of stopping it is boycott the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan in Rwanda. Stop supporting it, stop sponsoring it, stop sending it money, aid, cut everything. And then you see people advertising, visit Rwanda in the UK. When you visit Rwanda, you are supporting the criminal dictatorship. You are empowering the criminal dictatorship, because the criminal dictatorship owns everything. They own everything. They're the only ones who get rich. The rest of Rwandans are so poor. And this is actually how he stays in power as well, by making sure that everybody else is poor. He's the only rich one. He owns everything. He employs everyone. So nobody can speak against him, because then they will starve. I think we're coming back to the end of the English section. It's been an hour in English, my people. Let's move into French. Claudia Schiffer, how come he didn't have any social media account, but he owns a laptop? Can you imagine? A teenage boy who's not anywhere on any social media. It's very, very weird, right? He was planning the whole thing. He's part of a bigger network. They know what they're doing. They're not stupid. They're so smart. And then he's ordering things on Amazon. With which credit card? And then they're being delivered at his house. Also, obviously, they see everything that's being delivered. Who taught him how to make poison? We know the Kagamistan uses poison. Who taught him how to use machetes? Who? Who in the closest immediate family was part of the killing machines army that took over Rwanda in blood? No, man, come on. People, they're like, they think people are so stupid. Rike, UN replacement migration is running EU, Vatican, WF. They don't like Christians because Christians resist tyranny and evil. So you see, if you're evil, obviously you're not gonna like the people who have it in their mentality and their philosophy to resist evil and to do good. You know, the concept of Christ is is choosing to do good instead of doing evil. So these people are evil, and then Christians are standing up talking about no evil in here. We are here to do good. Obviously, you're going to be their enemies, right? But if Christians are to inspire us, the thing is the truth, right? You just walk in truth. That's already winning, you know? So you'll be winning when you're walking in the truth. The devil hates the truth. You know, the devil hates me. The devil hates me right now. This is why I've been so censored. The devil hates us. Did you see Zuckerberg talking about his loving freedom of speech now? Oh, so apparently he had social media. Ian is talking about Claudia did have social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. All of them were taken down on the day of the attack. Why? Why? They don't want us to see it? Why? Mm-hmm. Hope Future, what did he advise them? Did he tell them about the security of British children? I don't know. Maybe he's talking about Tony Blair being an advisor to the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan. And Hope continuing, Karenzi Karaki, this is one of the top military in the criminal dictatorship of the Kagamistan, who was arrested in the UK at the request of the Spanish because he's a top criminal genocidaire. And then who defended him? Tony Blair's wife. Labour, so corrupted. And this guy who's in power in the UK is Labour, eh? Corruption. So it's like the corrupted leaders of Europe collaborating with the corrupted leaders in Africa, man. Oh, disaster. A disaster. Protect British culture. I would not take anything Sky News or MSM channels say. They are complicit, as are the police. They all know what is going on, and they're just calling us far right and Islamophobic. You see, this is another way to manipulate people and to silence people. It should also be a hate crime to call people racist, far right, Islamophobic, when all they're doing is practicing freedom of speech. How is it not a hate crime when you invent that people have fears? You know, being Islamophobic is having a fear of Islam, and then far right. Like, how do you even know? Without knowing, just to silence them, and you call them these names, to me, it's a hate crime as well. So the government is committing a hate crime against its own people, calling them names to avoid addressing their concerns. Don't fall for that madness. Don't fall for it. Maria Goretti Hove. Hove. Claudia Schiffer, how he got the video of father and son, green hoodie. It looks fishy. They're covering a lot. To me, I was like, maybe they're trying to tell us now that the father is a nice guy, eh? Maybe someone is now trying to manipulate us into thinking, oh, the father is a nice guy. You try to stop him. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, how does he know? So he knows. So he knows. So he knows. He's like, son, it's not the time yet. You get the time to do it. It's not the time yet. Oh, he knows. Why? Whose credit card is he using? Whose house does he live in? Who taught him to do poison? The machetes, the arrows. Is it an arrow or whatnot? Everything being delivered. Poison under his bed? Come on. Was there an extradition request? No, just Rwandan people talking on social medias, talking about, yeah, send them back to Rwanda. It's like, but they're not saying it. They're saying it as, yeah, please send them back to Rwanda, as like, those are our people. Send them back to Rwanda, Like they're saying it affectionately, right? Like, yeah, send them, as if they have done something, accomplished something, yeah, send them, so that we can take care of themselves ourselves. I suspected that they would reward them and this kid would be free again. Because to the Kagamistan, he has done a service for them. It looks like, anyways. Allegedly. Protect British culture is like, please do not get news from BBC, Sky, ITV, CH4, Channel 4. They're all complicit in the tyranny. Yeah, and the BBC gets money from you, right? Yo, I feel this so bad. It's like the CBC in Canada. And then they don't even allow you to comment on their videos. Imagine these channels getting money from the taxpayers. But on the YouTube, you can't even comment. They all block. Anytime I see a channel which has the comments blocked, I'm like, the way I love reading comments, even when people are insulting me on my own videos, I don't mind. I love reading comments. So you block the comments, but you're a state-funded media like the BBC or the CBC in Canada. Yo. Claudia Schiffer. Oh, madness. Hope future. Yes, more investigation is needed because a child who was born in the UK, how could he be talking about genocide instead of playing PlayStation or Xbox? Rike, Christians usually don't need to use the death penalty. Yeah, the death penalty is a controversial issue because, redemption, right? We seek redemption. Even in the African spirituality, in the African culture, people always believed that you can be redeemed, but you have to work for it. Redemption, you have to work for it. Someone not even showing any remorse whatsoever, nothing, So I hear what you're saying. Ian, the church that his father attended in Southport put out a statement saying that they can confirm Alphonse's son, Axel, has never attended their church or been a part of any of their church activities. Ugh. Yeah. Kudos to Christians. You never hear Christians who commit crimes in the name of Christianity because Jesus will be against that nonsense. Jesus will be against it. To Tonto Twausi, Bana de Milcolin, Bolingo, Ezali. All right, my people. Okay, so that would be time for us to move into French. We can't finish everything that we have to say about it. So let's just move into French and move into KinyaRwanda because we're over the 1 hour. And then we will keep talking about it. Thank you, everyone who is in the comments. Thank you, everyone who is following from everywhere. Protect British culture is talking about. I would also love to come on your show next time. They're now changing laws to tighten social media and disguising it as the problem. You see this? It's not the problem, it's actually the solution. Communication. The truth is healing. When people are giving the truth, they can deal with it. When people are being lied to, that's when problems start. And people are intelligent. You are not the mommy and the daddy of everyone to seek to censor what people can see and cannot see. People are supposed to be able to develop their own intelligence by seeing everything that is presented to them and using their intelligence to decide for themselves. So who are you to come on top of me and tell me this is good, this is good, this is good, this is bad? Don't watch this, don't watch that. This one is silence, this one is silence. No. Freedom of speech is a divine right. Can't wait to introduce to you my next book, my new book, coming soon. So thank you, everybody, my people. Let's move into French, and then we'll definitely continue to talk about it. British people, we are with you in this horrible thing that we are going through, that you are going through. And our only contribution is having the audacity to talk about it and to expose our own Rwandan community and to tell you what's happening, and then to participate in the public investigation and to encourage more people out there to look into it. So you may take everything I say as allegations and conspiracy theories, but please do your own investigation. All right? Thank you. U&I Talk Show. Ausares Louise UWACU. Feel free to do what it says, like, share, subscribe. I always forget to say that stuff.